The Sega Dreamcast, a masterpiece in technology. Famously, the console did not sell well in Australia whatsoever. Well, anywhere really. But there's actually one place where the console kinda sold, I guess okay, and that's Japan. I've never seen a Dreamcast in the wild. I truly never have. Well, okay, that is a lie. But the only one I ever saw was so damn expensive that it was completely pointless to buy it. I didn't want to spend that much on a Dreamcast. So today, I'm traveling all the way to Japan to not only see how the game collecting space has changed, but to also find the dreaded Sega Dreamcast. So hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back. And I gotta go board a plane. Now this isn't the first time I've been to Japan, and it isn't even the first time I've been looking for video games either. In 2023, I travelled there and first explored their retro video game market. There, I bought a GameCube, a Nintendo 64, and my third Wii U and a few games. This Wii U was a 32GB white Wii U because that was interesting. That made me want another one, I guess. But when I was over there, I was shocked with the amount of Dreamcasts and Sega Saturns I saw. Now, I had never really thought about wanting these consoles. I only really wanted the Genesis or the Mega Drive, which I already had. And to be honest, at the time, I didn't really care for those consoles. Yes, I didn't really know what was on those consoles, besides from the Sonic games, but I really wasn't in the mood for these Sega consoles. And I also didn't really have any room to take them back with me anyway, even if I did buy them, so I just left them. But later I came back home and began to research what was actually on the Dreamcast and the Saturn, and what was on the Dreamcast really intrigued me. So I set out to try and find a Sega Dreamcast for a low price, whether that be in person or on Sendico or something like that. But I could just never find a Dreamcast for a price that I wanted. So I knew what I had to do. I need to go back to Japan. Now when I went to Japan in 2023, I mainly went to the popular places to buy games. Places like Akihabara and other places within the city of Tokyo. And to be honest, the prices they had I thought were pretty good. Like yeah, the prices could be cheaper, but within the city of Tokyo, I was finding Mario Game Boy games for like 300 yen, so it really wasn't that bad. The stores I went to were the hard-off/book-off chain of stores and the famous place Super Potato. Now to be honest, Super Potato's prices weren't really that fantastic then either. Ever since people like me started traveling to Japan specifically to find retro video games, and mainly the losers that buy them to try and sell them online for double the price on eBay, the prices in Super Potato kinda skyrocketed. But in 2023, Super Potato did still have some hidden gems in it. I bought a modded Famicom in one of the stores for an okay price, and I was happy paying that price due to knowing that the console would come with the premium of it being checked, tested, and modified so I could actually play the damn thing. I also found a Famicom disk drive for a cheapish price, and I thought that was really great too. And that was about the extent I went to in the Super Potatoes. Their game prices were kind of expensive, but their console prices were, for the most part, reasonable. Of course, if you wanted a special edition console, that was going to cost a ridiculous amount of money. But if you just wanted the good old family computer, it really wasn't that much. I was content, I really was. But when I went back to Japan, things were very, very different than before. Now this time I went to Japan, I was a bit more prepared than the last time. Of course, I wasn't only going there for game collecting, but I knew the places, or at least the types of places I would go to. I knew that I had to go outside of Tokyo to find even better prices, and to find the coveted Sega Dreamcast I always wanted. My journey started in Osaka, with one of the first places I went to being a Super Potato that was about 5 minutes away from where I was. And when I went in, everything seemed about the same as last time. The prices seemed semi-reasonable, maybe a bit more expensive than usual, but not anything I didn't expect. But then I decided to go to some book-offs. And the prices were genuinely insane. There were some games that were like 100 yen. I'd never seen actual games at this low prices, genuinely. And all the stores around this area had insanely cheap prices. Prices almost too good not to buy something. I really had to contain myself. These stores were so much cheaper than what Super Potato was doing. Let's just take a look.
Why do they have, like, this microwave's old, right? Like, what are we doing here? I've got some stuff. I don't know if yeah, let's do this. Let's have a look at what I have. We got Mario Party 6. Much cheaper than Australia. And then I got this baseball game for the. I don't have a Dreamcast, but I want to get one.
See, I told you I wanted a Dreamcast.
This is Pro Yaku Team 1. It's a baseball game. Intelligent Cube. I thought this was like a Japanese exclusive. Turns out, no, it isn't. It was very cheap. We got Dissider Final Fantasy. It's the Final Fantasy fighting game. Poke Park 2. Beyond the World, or Black and White, cause you get it. Everybody's Golf 4. I was gonna buy a PS2, but then they said it doesn't work. But I still got this. My thing's done. We got the Common Sense game with the Mii's in it. It's made by HAL Laboratory. Tennis, purely so I can do that glitch in Mario 1. Yoshi's Island, and Kirby and the Crystal Shards. Let's go!
I think I was more excited about my burger being done. Osaka was genuinely an interesting place to try and search for some video games. I did see a Sega Dreamcast in a few stores, but I thought that the console was just a bit too expensive for my liking. Genuinely wasn't for me. But I knew that with enough determination, I would find that goddamn Sega Dreamcast. I had to. I couldn't not find it. Now that I'm on my way to Tokyo, I knew what I needed to do. But before I went looking for games, I needed to do some other things. So first, I saw some cool little light things, and then I saw some monkeys. And you know where the best place for one of those things are? Team Lab Planets was an interesting place to go to in Tokyo. Seeing all the cool different rooms with all the different cool things in each one. It feels like you could spend literal hours in there just looking at all the different things I've got going on. Cool lights, cool balls, cool everything. This is genuinely a really cool place to go to. You do have to walk through water, which some people were complaining about on Reddit, but at the same time, it's Reddit. Do we really need to take anything they say seriously? But you know how I mentioned monkeys? I saw some, and we communicated. Now, as I was with the monkeys, they began telling me something only I would know how to understand. Firstly, they started telling me about Pandora or something, which I didn't really get, but then they started telling me something more important. They began to tell me that on the way back from the monkeys, there's going to be one book off that's so incredibly good that you're gonna want to go back and get off the train before you make your way back into inner Tokyo and check it out. They even told me, and I quote, that this book off is going to be the best book off you'll ever see. And I believed those monkeys. They're always up to something. Probably monkey business. Shut up, John. No, I didn't really get any footage of the store that I was talking about. I know, disappointing. But what can you do? This store was legendary. There were stacks and stacks of stuff I wanted. But don't worry, I did leave most of it. I didn't want to just buy up the whole store for myself, so I only bought the things that I had really been looking for. But there was no Dreamcast. It just wasn't there. There wasn't any consoles there really, except for maybe a PS4, a PS5, and a Nintendo Switch. You're not going to find an Xbox though. Japan is very famous for not caring about the Xbox. Just like me! The next day I decided to go to Akihabara, not for places like Super Potato, although I did check it out, and the prices they were trying to get away with was genuinely insane. And then I also went to some of the other stores that I went to last time, but the prices in those ones too had also gone up. Not as bad as Super Potato, but they were still not great. I managed to find some stuff that I wanted, saw Randolph in a random alleyway vlogging, and then I went back to the apartment. And back at the apartment, I set out a plan. I plan to go outside of the main city of Tokyo and see some of the hard-offs that rural Tokyo has to offer. While searching on Google Maps, I found something insane. An almost entire shopping center for just hard-offs, known only as Eco Town. I set out my plan to go to several stores the very next day, and to end all with Eco Town, the greatest hard-off I had ever seen. Okay, so technically there's multiple Eco Towns, but I'm pretty sure I went to the best one, because it was just so big. But before I got there, I also went to a few other stores. I went to the Nintendo store, and then I also went to some other smaller gaming stores. But then I finally made it to Eco Town, and it was legendary. Once you walk in and walk to the video game section, you're greeted with rows and rows of video games. Yeah, they even had a whole row dedicated to the Wii U. That's how much stuff they had. It took me so long to get there, and now that I'm finally here, I feel like I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find the Sega Dreamcast. Well, at Eco Town, I bought my stuff, I went back to the apartment to look through what I bought.
Firstly, a Nintendo 64 controller. Tetris. Parappa the Rapper. I got the PS4 remaster physically in Vietnam, so it's cool to have the original. Mario Party 1. Sim City. Mario Kart. Super Circuit. IQ Final. Donkey Kong Barrel Blast or Jet Race. Portal 2. Xenoblade. Yoshi's Cookie for the Famicom. Space Invaders. Yoshi for the Famicom. I think it's called Mario Superstar Baseball in the West, but here it's called Super Mario Stadium Miracle Baseball. Nights into Dreams. Pokemon Battle Revolution for 270 yen. We got Super Mario Strikers. Kirby's Dream Land 2, or it's a Kirby game anyway. Mario's Tennis for the Virtual Boy. E-Reader. A Nintendo 64 Rumble Pack. We got some very disgusting memory cards here. The first one is for the PlayStation, a GameCube memory card, a little one. Super Mario Advance, Rockman 4, Mario Party 7, Nights into Dreams, a Sega Dreamcast. This is really cool. I have been looking for it for a while and it was the cheapest I found. Granted, I don't have a controller yet or the AV cords, but the AV cords would be easy. And I need a VMU as well. But I have the bulk of everything, so that's really cool to own. Now that I finally got the Dreamcast, I can finally play Sonic Adventure, which is one of the games I got for it. Let's just hope that the voltage is the same in Japan and Australia. I guess not.